I'm going to show you how you could defend yourself against debt collectors without ruining your credit.
Let's get the show on the road.
As a credit repair specialist, I've seen countless amount of people worried about their financial future will be ruined. But the fact is, you have more control than what you think when it comes to dealing with debt collectors. In this video, we'll uncover some strategies that can help you when dealing with debt collectors. If you mishandle the debt collectors, like neglecting to answer their phone calls, this can lead to some serious consequences like wage garnishments or even some negative items hitting your credit report. So it is wise that you learn how to speak with debt collectors when they call you. There's no need to be afraid. What you need to do is understand what your rights are, understand what the actual debt is, understand who you actually owe. Because a lot of times these debt collectors, when they call you, they're actually buying the debt from another company that actually have the contract or the agreement between you that you actually borrowed this money or this credit from. So if you're ready, let's find out how we can manage collections while keeping your credit intact. The first crucial step in managing your debt is understanding who you owe, how much you owe, and all the specifics about that debt. Once you're contacted by a debt collection agency, what you need to do is request a written validation letter. They need to do their due diligence to show some type of evidence. They will send you in writing at least the loan document, the agreement you made with the original contract with your original signature on it. No statements or anything like that will solidify that you owe this alleged agreement to this debt collector. They need to show the original documentation that you signed with the original creditor in order for this debt to be valid with this company. You want to look for any discrepancies, any inaccuracies, any misspellings, any wrong amounts, anything that does not look right pertaining to that alleged debt you owe. You need to scrutinize all the way down to the letter. You need to make sure that whatever they're alleging is either false or if it's even true. Remember, the FDCPA, which is the Fair Debt Collection Practices Act, they have your back. What they mandate is that these creditors cannot excessively call you. They cannot call you after a certain time. They have to call you within a certain time frame. They can't call anybody else. They can't call your job. They cannot discourage you in any type of way when it comes to collecting the debt. As soon as you know that your debt has been sold to a debt collection agency, you have 30 days to respond to that debt. You must respond to this debt within 30 days. If not, then it's like an admission of guilt. You're saying that you actually owe the debt. So it's wise to learn how to speak to these debt collectors and learn how to write letters to these debt collectors so that way you can protect yourself when it comes to being sued or even getting your wages garnished. So you want to make sure you protect yourself at all costs. So now that you got a handle on how to handle these collections, what do you think the next step is? Using my credit letter software, you can have access to over 120 templated dispute letters from repossession all the way to debt validation letters. You can upload all three of your credit reports and scores with the Identity IQ integration. All you have to do is click on the inaccuracies, click on the response, and let the credit letter software do the rest. You can one-click send to the credit bureaus, or you can print them out and take them to the mail and send them off certified mail to the credit bureaus. You can track all your communications and watch your score rise in real time. You get your own client portal, but if you need further help from me or my team, we're just one click away. You get your own customer portal, so click the link in my description and get 1 month free with the credit letter software. Now back to the script. The next point is learning how to use negotiation tactics with debt collectors. First thing you want to keep in mind is you want to make sure you communicate everything in writing. You want to make sure you create a paper trail. Debt collectors could try to be sneaky and say they never received anything. So sending out letters in certified mail, verify that somebody received it, meaning that certified mail will validate that someone had received that letter that you sent or that communication that you're having back and forth. In the beginning, it may seem a little bit scarce because you have that inside feeling that you know you have this debt. So I get that you may feel a certain kind of way because I used to be there feeling that I knew I did something wrong, that you owe this alleged debt. And once they prove that you owe this alleged debt, then from there you can build another strategy on how you would work it out, either getting a pay to delete or reduced type payment. But there's many other ways. We'll discuss that later on in the video so that way you understand how to actually negotiate these tactics with these debt collectors.
Come on, man.
So what you need to do is make sure you ensure your communication is with mail. So that way you want to have a written paper trail of communication with this, because they could also say that they never received any mail. So ensuring that you send it out certified, by them receiving it and signing for it is proof that they have received your communication or your dispute, your validation letter, whatever it is, your response, they received it. And now your job is to make sure that you keep a paper trail so that way you could defend yourself if anything goes further, like they're trying to sue you or anything like that. So here's some of the strategies strategies that you can negotiate over the phone. You could do a pay for delete, meaning that you could pay a certain amount that you negotiate and they will delete that report off your credit report. You could do a 50% payment. You could do a 25% payment. You could do a 10 or 5% payment. What you need to understand is when a debt collector has your debt, they're usually binding on pennies on a dollar. So your job is to try to negotiate the lowest possible amount, which is somewhere around 25%. So that way you can settle that debt. However, if you do settle that debt at a lower price, it's going to show on your credit report that it was not paid in full or paid in full. It's going to have a remark that's going to not be positive on your credit report. So what you want to do at that time is make sure you get a pay for delete. So whatever you negotiate, whatever amount you negotiate, you want to get a pay for delete letter. And before you make that payment, you make sure you get that delete letter in writing. This letter will state that whatever amount you pay X amount of dollars, we will delete this negative item off of your credit report. So there's two things that could affect you with that. Depending on your credit history, that could damage your credit history, but you could also rebuild that because now you're in a different bucket. Number one, you want to make sure you remain calm when you're dealing with them. You could answer all their questions, but you don't have to talk about anything financial over the phone. So when you're trying to get your items settled with the debt collector, you could either do a lump sum payment, which is payment in full, 50% payment, or 25% payment. What you need to understand is when a debt collector has your debt, they usually pay pennies on a dollar by buying that debt from the original creditor. So what you would want to do is try to pay the lowest amount in order to settle that debt. This will possibly affect you on your credit when it comes to reporting, meaning that you may get a not paid in full, but the debt is settled. You may get some type of item or remark like that. So what you want to do is make sure you get a pay for delete letter, and you do not make that payment until you get that letter in your hand. Once you get that letter in your hand, it's okay for you to make that payment with that debt collector or that original creditor, whomever you made that agreement with. So that way, when you look at your credit report, that item will no longer be there. The next point is to leverage your legal rights to ensure you have a positive credit impact. As I mentioned before, the FDCPA, which is the Fair Debt Collection Practices Act, they mandate how the communication should be between debt collectors and the consumer. They can't speak to you crazy. They can't curse at you. They can't show up at your job. They can't threaten you. They can't call you all types of the hours. It has to be within a certain time frame, or they are violating your rights. So it's important for you to understand what the Fair Debt Collection Practices Act is and how it can help you. Or if you're feeling harassed, or if you're feeling like you can't deal with the debt collectors, it's okay to go find yourself a lawyer. A lawyer can definitely help you when you're dealing with debt collectors. They know the law. They know how to protect you. They know what letters to send out to get the debt collectors to cease and desist any and all communications with you. So it's okay to find a lawyer or to find someone to help you out if you don't know how to. Now, once you settle the debt, the job is not over. You still have to work and repair on your credit. You still have to maintain a positive credit history by paying your bills on time, at least paying a minimum each and every month. You want to bring your utilization down to less than 30. So you want to be a little bit more responsible as you're dealing with, trying to repair your credit, 5 to even 6 and all the way up to 7 and even 800, 850, whatever you want to go, whatever your goal is to get to, you want to be more responsible when it comes to managing your money and dealing with credit. But make sure throughout the whole entire process, you get everything in writing. You make sure you document everything. If you speak to a collector, get his name, get the number, make sure you get everything in writing, put it in folders, put the company name on the folders, your letters, everything. You want to make sure you keep everything in an organized fashion. So if they come at you to actually try to sue, you actually have proof that you was trying to dispute it, but they didn't want to negotiate with you. So always make sure you keep everything in writing when you're sending out your communications with these debt collectors.
I got it.
I understand credit repair can be tough. I remember when I first started out, I had no idea where to start. So that's why I created this free credit repair ebook for you. It's a step-by-step ebook that'll give you detailed information on how to repair your credit, what these different types of disputes are, where you should start, how you can get your credit report, and even how to write your first dispute letter. So click the link in the description to get my free ebook. It's a simple credit repair ebook, and it will definitely help you out. But if you want in-depth training on credit repair, Metro 2, or FDCPA, head over to my website, join the Finance Finesse Academy. Now back to the script. My next point is to stay debt-free, protect your credit. The key is to create a budget. You have to create a budget and stick to it. This will help you remain debt-free. This will help you manage your income and expenses. This will put you in a place to know that you have this amount coming in. Once you learn how to manage your expenses, if you don't know how, there's plenty of resources out there that you can find. YouTube University, there's people that can show you how to create budgets. If you want to learn how to create a budget, you can let me know in the comments. It's very very simple, but also complicated at the same time, because it's like another discipline you have to build. You have to reduce that impulse that you normally have when it comes to spending your money. I remember used to living paycheck to paycheck or 3 paychecks behind, but now it has to come to a point in time where you have to make a decision and say, what am I going to do with my finances? How am I going to better myself today for tomorrow? Aren't you tired of being in the same place? No matter where you at, you can always start off with a budget very small, however your bills are, then try to knock these things down one at a time. You don't have to do it right away. Build out a plan. If it takes a year, if it takes 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, whatever it is, build out the plan, see it, envision, and then just act on it. All you got to do is just build that discipline to create the budget. That's the hardest thing to do. It's easy to put it on paper, but it's hard to actually do it on a daily basis. So once you figure out how to build the discipline, it'll become easier to create the budget and to stick to it. So let's recap, because we covered a whole lot of information. So when you're dealing with debt collectors, you want to remember to stay cool, send out certified mail so you can verify or validate that they have received it, and just make sure you do your due diligence when you're dealing with these debt collectors. Focus on your financial future and just take every day one at a time just to do the right thing. Nothing has to be all done in one day. Just make one small change to move the needle to a better financial future. I appreciate you for watching. Peace.